This is V-joint splicing. Typically, the length of the V is supposed to be 3 times the width of the wood. The width of the wood here is 12 inches, but this was a different type of a situation. It didn't have major load. As you can see, the main 4x6 support beam is right at the V-joint. So the joint was smaller, but it's a V cut, and then a precise V cut, and then your replacement piece, and you use wood glue into the joint. Now you're looking at that joint. The wood glue is inside, and you put 2 screws or 3 screws up wherever you can, up and down through the wood to connect it and compress the glue for the joint. What you got to do in this situation is, you don't see them now, but I took 2x4 by 12 foot wood, and I pried up and supported the roof when I started taking the wood off and replace it. And that's all you really needed. I didn't have a jacket or nothing, just a 2x4 by 12, and that did the job and held the roof up. What you're looking at on the joint there is, you're not looking at wood cement. That is a sandable wood putty, and at the end of the video I'll show you the products that I used. But that's where you can fill in, and almost like auto body work, use a spatula and make a nice smooth connection, and then paint it, and nobody will notice. Okay, I used a circular saw for the cuts, but then when the cuts I couldn't do any further, I used a fine tooth jigsaw blade. Okay, now we're looking at the 2x6, the outside 2x6 to replace. And that was a pain in the ass, because the 1x6 underwood of the deck for the roof is nailed to it. So what you got to do is get a screwdriver, a pry bar, a thin pry bar, pry up, and cut the nails off. I used an end grinder, and I also used a reciprocating saw with a middle blade on it. I cut the nails off, then I could get that free, and I put this new piece in. It's a piece of redwood. And here you're looking at the joint. You can see how long it is. It's 18 inches long. I did it by the book, 6 inches, 3 times 6, 18. It's cemented in. I'm going to sand that off, and then I'm going to use the sandable wood putty and finish it. Okay, here's the 3 products I used. On the V-joints, to connect them, I used the liquid nails. And like I mentioned, I drove screws in, both up and down, to hold the joint together as the glue dried. Over the other side, there's sealer. And when I got the wood replaced, the under exposure of those 1x6s, it's real important to keep water out of your roof, wood roof, obviously. That's where dry rot starts. And if you can keep the water out, even if there's some dry rot, because I didn't show you the picture, but some of those 1x6s had dry rot starting. So I'm going to fill those 1x6s up with the sealant. Then behind that, I'm putting on a piece of wood trim to keep the moisture completely out of those 1x6s. And then finally, that's an upside down view of the Durham's hard rock wood putty, really. Use it for anything, though, I guess, besides wood. And it's sandable, and like I said, you spread it on just like you're doing auto body work, and then scrape it off as best you can, smooth, and then sand it, and you got a perfect job and an invisible joint.